Are you thinking about expanding your living space? Maybe you need something bigger. Maybe you have more kids, bigger family, parents maybe moved into your basement. Now you're faced with a crucial decision. Should you build an addition to the house that you already have, or should you just give it up and sell and buy a bigger home? And both of these options have their pros and cons. The right choice depends on it depends on your unique needs and circumstances, but let's dive into the nitty-gritty of each path to kind of help you navigate these crossroads and try and understand what might be best for you. I'm Lisa Salt with RE/MAX Vernon Salt Fowler, and let's first talk about building an addition. Let's talk about the cost effectiveness of that. There's always caveats with building addition. It can be a great way to add valuable square footage without leaving the neighborhood that you love. You want to stay where you are, you know your neighbors, you know you don't have some 8-ball next door. If you do, you can handle it. You're close to the schools, you're close to shopping. Is it typically cheaper? It might be cheaper than building a new home of a similar size. I mean, it probably would be cheaper than building a whole new house, but the price tag, man, it can be hefty. For an addition, you're probably still looking at a 6-figure investment, depending on how big your addition is. So you have to have real careful planning. With the Financing Balancing Act, the potential upside can be significant. And studies actually show that a well-designed addition can recoup most of their cost upon resale if they're really, really well designed and not overbuilt or overspent. But that's not guaranteed. You have to keep your future in mind. You have to build for your needs, but then stay within those reasonable limits. The big thing is avoid awkward layouts or features that you like but that might deter future buyers. You have to think into the future. Sometimes what we see is somebody put on this addition. It did what the homeowner wanted. It gave them the extra space, but all of a sudden you've got this totally haywire floor plan. You've got an extra 1,000 square feet, 500 square feet, whatever it happens to be. But man, you have to go through the dining room to get to the bathroom, to get to the other bedroom, and up these stairs and across a breezeway, I don't know. But sometimes you look and you go, who thought this out? Definitely get a professional planner, architect, someone involved, because if you build something, your investment could be for nothing if it turns out really, really weird. You don't want to build something weird, even if it accomplishes what you want to accomplish. If you're going to stay there for 10 or 20 years, fine, go for it, do whatever you want. But what often happens is people build this addition for whatever reason, thinking this is what they need, and then they find out that it wasn't the answer to whatever the problem was, and they end up selling and then rebuying. And when they sell, unfortunately, they don't recoup anywhere near 100% of their investment. So be very, very careful if you're going to be doing an add-on. There's other costs too. When you consider the cost of putting in the addition is one thing, that might seem simple. It probably isn't, but it might seem like the answer. It's far from effortless though. You got to think about the increased heating and cooling bills. There's going to be more maintenance. You've got more gutters, you've got more windows. You're probably going to have higher property taxes. And then of course, ultimately, you're going to have a smaller yard. If you built out, maybe if you built up, you wouldn't, but generally people build out and then you end up with a smaller yard. Maybe that's not what you want. Other things to consider. How about the construction process? Super disruptive, noisy, dusty, testing your patience, and potentially driving you nuts. Possibly putting a very big strain on your relationship with your partner. So think about all these things. There are alternatives to full-blown additions. Maybe you don't need a whole addition. Before committing to that, maybe you could just do some other space-saving option. How about a sunroom? Now, they're charming. They may not be seen as valuable by future buyers. They could be even viewed as liabilities. Why would that be? It's extra space. Well, because they're hot. They can be cold, extra maintenance, extra cost, all that sort of thing. Finishing the basement. That's an easy way to get extra space. Great, actually, for adding more usable space. However, if you don't have a daylight basement, they can feel dark and cramped, and they may not look like you think that they're going to at the end of it. You gotta picture it with the light that's in the space. You can't just create, well, you might be able to put in more windows, but generally you can't. If you can, that's great. And if it's a daylight basement, that's a no-brainer. Great way of putting in more usable space, sweeten your basement, whatever. Then how about a room addition? You might be able to do a one-room extension. Might offer a more budget-friendly alternative than a whole addition. Can still come with significant cost though, and significant disruption, so keep that in mind. Now what about building versus selling? Building an addition versus selling and buying a new house. Now, building an addition allows you to customize your space. You can create a dream room. You can expand your functionality. It's an exciting process, but of course, like I said, be prepared for the challenges and the potential super inconvenience that it would be, plus the extra cost, plus are you going to end up with exactly what you want at the end? It's always that cost-benefit analysis. Selling and buying, on the other hand, that offers a fresh start. Brand new, clean slate, ready-made space that might better suit what you're looking for. What you might want to do is get out, look and see what's around first before you just make that decision. Maybe you should get out and look at some of these homes that are bigger than yours. Make sure you're making the right decision on expanding. There might be another house in the same area as you that's bigger, or maybe it's not even bigger. Maybe it just has a different layout and it might suit you better. So there's that. However, of course, selling and rebuying also comes with its own set of complexities. First of all, you gotta find the right house. You gotta deal with the closing costs. And then the big one is potentially leaving your familiar neighborhood. You love your neighborhood. If you love your neighborhood, that might be very tough. Ultimately, the choice between building and selling hinges on your individual priorities and your circumstances. However, consider your budget, your future plans, your tolerance for construction disruptions, and your desired level of customization. You gotta weigh the pros and cons of each option very, very carefully, and definitely seek professional advice. Unfortunately, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Choose a path that best aligns with your vision for your future home and for your future happiness. Thanks for watching.